In today's video, I want to take you guys through a newly revealed PlayStation 4 RPG that looks fantastic, and it's arriving later in 2019, so now we're starting to see that fall lineup for the PlayStation 4 take shape, and we have a brand new story-driven action RPG, an Everreach Project Eden that I want to go over today. It looks pretty great, so we'll be taking a look at that in a little bit. Also, one of the major games that's releasing this fall, it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order by Respawn, the same guys that brought you Titanfall, and they have given us some clarity on what to expect out of the game and how lengthy the game will be. We don't have an exact time frame, but I do want to take a look at what they said to Game Informer. The director of The Division 2 wants to know if fans would like a single-player narrative-focused game, so that sounds pretty exciting. So again, we'll look at that at the end of this video. Alright, so first up, I do want to highlight Everreach Project Eden, which is a brand new game coming from Elder Games and publisher Head Up, and it looks to be a very compelling story-driven action RPG. The game itself is a fast-paced story-driven action RPG set in the visually stunning planet Eden. In Everreach, you play as Nora Harwood, a member of Everreach's security division on a mission to secure the colonization process of Eden and investigate mysterious incidents. Explore a vast alien world and descend into the planet's depths to discover the ancient secrets of a long-forgotten civilization packed with tactical ground combat, high-speed vehicular warfare, and a compelling level and skill system. Everreach immerses you into its intriguing story and diverse gameplay. The game's key features tells play as a highly trained security guard specialized in extraterrestrial missions, customize your skills and gear through a classical skill tree with over 80 upgrades, engage in tactical battles, deploy force fields, or use the environment against your foes. Immerse yourself in 8 hours of story from Michelle Clow, game writer and former narrative QA for the Mass Effect trilogy. So from a narrative standpoint, this game has a lot of potential, and explore Eden's beautiful vistas designed by Mayan Tron, an artist who worked on movies such as Warcraft and Star Trek Beyond. And of course, you'll be able to hop onto your hover bike to engage in high-speed vehicular warfare. We got a reveal trailer for the game, so check that out for yourself. We don't have an exact release date for the game, but it is coming in September, followed by a PlayStation 4 release later in 2019. The PC release will be coming in September, so I wanted to make note of that. And then the PlayStation 4 version is supposed to be due out before the end of this year. Another pretty interesting RPG. This is one that I do feel like is going to get lost in the shuffle quite a bit, just because from a visual standpoint and a technical standpoint, it's really not holding up comparatively speaking to the biggest RPGs releasing this year. However, with games like Everreach Project Eden and games like Greedfall, there are a lot of underrated RPGs that I think you guys should know about, and this one does have quite a bit of potential. As far as what Elder Games has worked on in the past, however, there's nothing really noteworthy to mention on that standpoint. However, hopefully this is a game that could really put them on the map. We'll see. Again, September release for PC later in 2019 on PlayStation 4. Okay, next up, I do want to talk a little bit about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, as this is one of the more anticipated games for the rest of the year. I feel like there should be a lot more hype surrounding this game, but I also feel that EA absolutely butchered the gameplay reveal of this game. They didn't showcase the gameplay that I think gamers wanted to see, and it was a lengthy gameplay demo of a lot of nothing. At this point, they have showcased a lot more compelling footage. However, that E3 demo was your biggest platform to showcase something incredibly engaging, and we really didn't see that. However, I do think the game has a lot of potential. Chatting with Game Informer, Respawn Entertainment Stig Asmussen spoke about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and how big of a game it would be, and here's what he said. We are doing playtesting. There's actually a new round of playtesting next week with the most completed form of the game, and I will say that I thought it was big, but it's bigger than I thought. With that being said, I don't want people to think it's a massive game, but there's a lot there. I think it's going to take people longer than they expect, but with that being said, it's really hard to gauge that right now. Part of that might be because the length that we have right now is because we haven't done our job through the playtesting process completely yet, and people are getting stuck in areas where we don't intend them to get stuck in, or pathing doesn't read as clearly as it should, or there's difficult curves or spikes that we don't intend. I really can't give a time limit on that, and I don't think we will be until much closer to launch, but it's not a short game. I hear people saying things like, hey, Respawn 5 hours Call of Duty campaign and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, that's not the type of game this is. We don't have any multiplayer. It's really just all about the single player, so to deliver a quality experience, you have to be able to visit a certain amount of locations and experience a certain amount of playtime that's satisfying, and I think we're definitely in that zone. So to me, based on everything that's being said, I think if you rush through this game, you're probably going to be able to complete it in 8 to 10 hours. I know a lot of you guys are instantly going to be kind of disappointed by that, but just based on the verbiage, that's you rushing through the game. I've had experience rushing through games, and I've had experience taking my time through games, and I imagine when we do get closer to the release of Jedi Fallen Order, they're gonna say it's around 15 to 25 hours long or whatever the case may be, but that's if you take your time. and take everything in, which is probably the right way to go. That's why I'm saying if you do rush through the game, maybe 10 hours. That's just speculation on my part, and that's just me dissecting the verbiage that he does have in place. But considering he pointed towards this game being a lot lengthier than the Call of Duty campaigns, and he mentioned 5-hour Call of Duty campaigns, I mean, Call of Duty campaigns, yes, generally speaking, 5 hours is maybe a median time, but you can complete the Call of Duty campaigns much quicker than 5 hours. So you guys get where I'm coming from. Nonetheless, I don't think length is a game that should be an imperative talking point with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I think it's much more important that you offer a lot of quality content, even if it's not a lot of content. The content that is in there, it's very important that all of it is of immense quality, and I think that's what Respawn is going for. Okay, moving on from that, here's something very interesting. The director of The Division 2 wants to know if fans would like a single-player narrative-focused game from them. Tim Spencer, a level director at TT Games, tweeted out about the idea of a more single-player narrative-driven spin-off of the Division game. This said game would focus on an agent trying to return home to their family after being sent to NYC. He tagged both the game as well as Julian Greddy, creative director of the Division. Greddy retweeted this as well as responding with thoughts ? Presumably looking for fans' perspective of the idea of a possible Division spin-off. Now, I think Division at this point is more so known for its gameplay and its multiplayer gameplay of that, but I think a single-player spin-off to the Division could be quite compelling. I dig the setting of the Division. I think there's a lot of promise in what the narrative could be in a game like this. I love the idea of a single-player narrative-driven spin-off of the Division game. Focus on an agent trying to get home to their family after being sent to NYC during the SHD blackout from the fall of DC. The Last of Us X Division is exactly what he pointed to. Now, the idea of The Last of Us cross with The Division, I had never really thought about that, but a Last of Us style game with the Division world, that sounds rather compelling to me. Now, am I expecting a single-player game at the level of a Last of Us or a Naughty Dog property? No, not necessarily. However, I do think a single-player Division title could be quite good, and that's really where I'm coming at this from. I have often said that The Division 2 is one of the best games of the year, but I do often say that based on the fact that it's a very compelling multiplayer experience, and the multiplayer is top-notch, and Ubisoft has been incredibly consistent in updating the game, adding quality content, and this is a game that right now is available for only $20. If you've yet to pick up The Division 2 and you want a quality multiplayer game, maybe you were a little burned by Anthem or whatever the case may be, The Division 2 for a $20 buy is absolutely excellent, and it's regularly been available for that price. I believe it's at that price at Best Buy right now, GameStop, Amazon might have it for that price. It's really ridiculous how cheap Division 2 is, and it's not even an indictment on the quality, it's just that Ubisoft games generally these days get pretty cheap pretty quickly, and The Division 2 is another standout of that. Now, if you pick up The Division 2, I would also recommend you to get a couple of friends to pick up that game, jump in at multiplayer, and you will have a great time. They've been releasing pretty big updates to the game as well. I believe one just dropped or is on the way. I haven't jumped back into The Division 2 in a little bit, but when I played it, it was an absolutely great time, so I would highly recommend it. And the idea of a single-player narrative-focused game, yeah, that has me a little bit excited, even though I'm a little bit skeptical just because Ubisoft's single-player offerings in recent memories have left me with a lot to desire, even though I liked games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You guys know I have my fair share of qualms with that game. However, a Division single-player title, at least the idea of it sounds relatively compelling to me. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, I know a lot of you guys already have your idea of what games you're gonna pick up this fall, whether it be a Borderlands 3, whether it be Death Stranding, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. There are a lot of games coming this fall. However, there are also some hidden gems coming. I point to a game like Greedfall, and I point to the recently revealed Everreach Project Eden. Now, is this a game that I would run out, pre-order, and drop your money right now? No, not necessarily, because I could see this game being a little bit of a mixed bag. However, I would keep your eyes on the game, see how the reviews turn out, see what people are saying about the game, and it could be one that ends up surprising you a lot, because just based on the premise, it does look to be a relatively compelling RPG, and it will be coming later in 2019. Again, the PC version will be dropping in September. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order looks to be a relatively lengthy game. Don't expect something massive like an open world RPG. However, in comparison to, say, a 5-hour Call of Duty campaign, it's gonna be a lot lengthier than that, and you're gonna have a lot more content to digest. If I had to speculate, I imagine if you were to play through the game a little bit rushed, it would be around a 10-hour experience, but again, that is speculation on my part. And what do you think about the idea of a Division single-player title? I think the Division has a pretty compelling narrative and a premise already, and I think if you want to make a full-blown single-player game that is entirely focused on the story and the narrative, I think that could be quite good, but let us know what you guys think. And that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.